We're trying to stump Tom Grieve on a self-defense legal question here, ladies and gentlemen. But first, a gun giveaway. Just for you. It's happening right now. It's absolutely free, but it does end really soon. So click the link in the description down below to find out which brand new gun you could win. Tom, you're a noted criminal defense attorney, former state prosecutor. What happens? How much more difficult is your defense if you don't call the police when you're involved in a deadly force incident? You shoot the bad guy, you leave the scene, how much trouble are you in?
I would say that it depends.
Thank you. I knew it was coming. And
here's why. I'm going to say it will definitely make it more difficult. Let's just start there. But here, let's layer in the it depends. We get to the it depends because why did you not call them? Did you not call them because the scene was not safe and you had to flee and someone else called the police like 10 seconds before you actually did? Did you not call the police because you dragged him through the back 40, dug a shallow grave, pitched him in there, and like decided? I'm
going to say that's bad.
That's bad.
Bad. Tampering with evidence.
Don't do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Even as a former law enforcement officer, I know that was bad.
Yes. So there's shades as to the reason why, and then how explainable are those, and that all goes back to the fact that, look, at the end of the day, there's a bias that juries have, that people have, that if you did nothing wrong, then you remain at the scene and you call the police because you're participating in the legal process. And I'm not saying that you have a duty to participate. I'm not saying that you, by any measure, should be giving right then and there a full statement to law enforcement, because you absolutely should not. But it doesn't change the fact that those are the sorts of things that we think good guys do, because we've been conditioned to think that through Hollywood, the media, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so good guy doesn't run away.
Good guy does not run away. So that's the reason why I would say, look, it's going to make it more difficult, but it really depends as to how difficult. Even if the scene is not safe, does it put you slightly below? Yes. But at the end of the day, would I rather have you save yourself and protect yourself and potentially your loved ones and family and friends by escaping? Absolutely, I would. So we will deal with that on the back end, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Recruit Academy days and the term they gave us, the totality of the circumstance. And that's just a fancy way of saying it depends, but you know, I can play this game as well with the words. Understanding that, yeah, if you have to get out of there to save your life, it's just another hurdle that's in the way of your defense. That's basically how we're putting this together.
Right. So if you don't call them for the right reasons, I'm less concerned.
Yeah.
If you don't call them for the wrong reasons, then, you know, because you're doing something bad. Maybe the shoot was bad and you're like, I don't know, I'm going to try to get out of here and I'm going to try to, you know, whatever. What happens if you just, in the panic, what if you just forget to contact law enforcement, right? Let's talk about that one for a moment. If you just plain old forget, you have your adrenaline's pumping, the stress is through the roof, you just don't think about it. But otherwise, look, your shoot is good or questionable, and I say good or questionable because sometimes shoots are just through and through good. But typically you have different witnesses, oftentimes by witnesses, that's code for the person or people who attacked you, by the way, who, you know what? They may not be agreeing with what actually happened. They may be trying to say that you tried to rob them or something like that, right? So that's why I'm saying, look, a number of shoots are going to be good. The vast majority of shoots are going to be questionable. In my experience, as an owner of a firm that we're representing probably between about 4 to 15 people in defensive gun use cases virtually at any point in time. So not exactly my first time to this rodeo. It will definitely put us behind the 8 ball somewhat. There's just no way about that, because law enforcement is going to have to figure out who's this person, who's our shooter, right? And that's going to be kind of like running away from like a predator, running away from a dog, running away from a lion. It has a way of triggering like a predatory instinct of, there was a shot that was fired, presumably you left the scene, maybe you didn't. If you didn't, again, that's a different layer of situations. But if you did and did not call 911, you're starting to look more like the bad guy, and law enforcement's probably going to follow that track somewhat, and it may put them off on the wrong foot for the investigation. And as a result, it may make you look less credible, and your attackers more credible.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. That's what I was sitting here thinking about. If someone else makes the call and you're not at the scene of the defensive gun use, the cops are going to be looking for you. And they're going to eventually find you and take you into custody because somebody's going to call the police. And someone has seen this, and if someone has been shot, the police are going to arrive and they're going to start investigating. And then they're going to be looking for you. And that changes your entire dynamic of your police interaction when they find you or when you call them and say, yeah, it was me, I shot the guy, but I need to tell you my story. And again, folks, don't tell that story without talking to your attorney first.
Right. I mean, so there's a lot of different factors to this. Just to quickly summarize, we've got the scene isn't safe, but you had to escape, and then after your escape, perhaps you're going to call them, but someone called them in the meantime. We've got you just panicked, got too stressed out, but you arrived at the scene. You've got the panic, stressed out, forgot, but you left the scene. And then you've got yeah, there's something not right here.
Yeah, I just don't want to talk to anybody, I'm out.
Right.
Yeah.
There's lots of different factors. There's tons more scenarios than obviously what we just covered here. But I think from a low resolution perspective, that's kind of 3 layers with a couple differences and a couple of those layers thrown in.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. Always appreciate your insight.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. And I will remind you again, we have that super secret gun giveaway going on right now. It ends really soon. It is absolutely free to enter. Just click the link in the description down below.